Why in the world is Lake Mead falling over and over and over? Why does this continue to happen time and time again? Every day we are at a new low. Every day the lake is falling. I have explained this before, but many of you might be new, so I will explain it again. And with that, we'll be right back. So I'm sure many of my viewers have heard of the Palo Verde Valley in Southern California. What does that have to do with Lake Mead, you may be asking yourself. For those of you who don't know, is that a lot of alfalfa is grown there in farms. Alfalfa is a type of plant that used mainly to feed dairy cows and everything else. Now, you may be asking yourself, what does alfalfa have to do with Lake Mead? Well, the problem is alfalfa that's grown here is not being used here in the United States. A lot of that water is being shipped across seas. You may be asking, well, who in the world is doing this? Well, China, Japan, and Saudi Arabia. And as a matter of fact, Saudi Arabia is definitely one of the main countries who use these farms to produce alfalfa. Now, over the last 20 years, foreign companies have purchased more than 250,000 acres of land in the Southwest to raise cattle and pigs as well and grow everything from almonds to alfalfa. This is a big problem because, A, these other countries do not care about sucking us dry, because Saudi Arabia, on the other hand, they have taken their water from their own land and sucked it dry, and now they're over here sucking our water dry and not even caring about it. And the people who sold these lands, they're part of the problem. That's one of the many things that goes on in this country that most people are not even aware of. Now, as far as Lake Mead goes, there's more to the story than just agriculture. Obviously, we are in a drought, and I can prove that. This was released Thursday, June 2nd, just 2 days ago, and here is your drought. And you can see most of the West is completely in drought. Most of the East is not even in drought. So from basically Kansas to the West is in some form of drought, with the exception being the Northeast from about middle Oregon up. California being completely in drought, Nevada being completely in drought, Utah being in completely drought, and Colorado being in 98% drought. And of course, you got Arizona down here that's mostly in drought. They have a little spot here that's not completely in drought, but this is problematic, and this is why Colorado River continues to be depleted as well. This spring was completely dry, and they made a conscious decision that power was more important than water at Lake Powell, so they held back more water than releasing the water down to Lake Mead so they can produce power. This was a Bureau of Reclamation decision to do so. And then with a high demand for water because of the drought that's going on in California and Arizona to, give water to Saudi Arabia and other countries, they had to release more water. So this is where your water is going, and this takes me to water level. And if you are enjoying this, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button? If not, if you want to consider it at the end of the video, that would be great. And back to the program. As I have explained many times in the past, the lake is shaped like a V. Every time they take water out of the lake, it drains quicker and quicker. As a V shape, this will happen. Therefore, it is draining faster than what they initially anticipated. I don't think they took that into consideration when they were figuring out the numbers for this year. Now, you add that Lake Powell is holding back more water and they're using more water, there is your problem. A lot of people ask, why don't they just turn off the turbines? And a lot of people ask, why are we still in Tier 1 and we're not at Tier 2 like advertised? There are many reasons that go into this. First off, the turbines. I have looked. I have gone all the way to the Wikipedia page where it has stated, under its original design, the dam would no longer be able to generate power once the level fell below 1,050 feet, 320 meters, which might have occurred in 2017 had restrictions not been enforced. To lower minimum power pool elevation from 1,050 to 950, 5 wide head turbines designed to work efficiently with less flow were installed, and I have said that many, many times. Water levels maintained at over 1,075 feet, 328 meters in 2018 and 2019, but fell below a new record of 1,071.55 feet on June 10, 2021, were to fall below 1,066 feet, 325 meters by the end of 2021. We all know what happened. Obviously, this is old news, but we can come to some sort of conclusion. There are 5 turbines going as far as I know, and they still are producing power as far as I know as well. According to this, they were asking electricity and power collapse. Lake Mead is less than a day from dropping below 1,050. Only 5 of the Hoover Dam turbines will be able to operate below this level. According to this, and I will leave this link down in the description, according to Patty Aaron, Public Affairs Officer for the Bureau of Reclamation of the Lower Colorado region, oversee the dam operation, Lake Mead will decline to below 1,050 this week. This was back in the middle of May, but this will not affect our ability to produce hydropower. Hoover Dam would no longer be able to produce power at 950 elevation feet, she said. We do not anticipate that happening. They're still saying that they're producing power. This is the only quote that I have found, and this is in the Boulder City Review, and I will leave that link below as well. And they're saying 895 feet is dead pool. At 895 feet, they will no longer be able to release water downstream. So even if the power is off at the lake, they'll still have water to give to Saudi Arabia and other countries, right? But what she did not state is how many of those power stations are working. Is it only 5? Is it 17? They never said, and I can't find a single thing on it. And as far as I know, nobody else has been able to either. Some guy said that he could, but then he didn't follow up where he got the information from or who he was. I have no idea what is going on with that. So that's where we stand with that currently. Now, Deadpool, like I said, is at 895 feet, and we're a long way from that, and she doesn't anticipate that we will be below an elevation of 950 feet, and she also didn't anticipate being below 1,050 this year. The Bureau of Reclamation has been wrong every time they've given a prediction. They said it would be, 1,050 in 2 years. We hit it this year, but what they didn't anticipate was Lake Powell, so with that, they anticipated it being that way with Lake Powell releasing their normal 9 million, and now they're only releasing 7.5 million acre feet of water. So take that into consideration. Now, somebody else asked me, why are we not at a tier 2? The reason for this is because the tier 2 levels is put in place at the end of August, at the beginning of September, the beginning of their water year. That's when Tier 1 was put in place. This only happens annually, so you have to take that into consideration. We also hit Tier 1 in last June at 1,075, and the reason why it stayed that way was because it didn't take effect until September 1st, and technically they didn't start holding back that water until January 1st, according to an article I read somewhere along the way. So I think it was a CNN article, I believe. So I always thought it was September 1st was the beginning of their water year, so that's whenever all this stuff takes effect. So we'll see what happens in September 1st, so be watching out for that. That's still several months away. In the meantime, the lake continues to fall, and we'll be closer to a tier 3 by that point, especially if it drops another 10 to 12 feet in the next 2 to 3 months. So we'll definitely be watching for that. Definitely be looking to see when they start ramping up power production at Lake Powell. Right now, they're holding back more water. The levels go up. The current water level at Lake Powell, and I'm not going to do inflows and outflows because this video is already getting long-winded. Lake Powell's water level yesterday, because they're always a day behind, is 3,533.06 feet, and the level's 166.94 feet below the full pool of 3,700 feet, and changes since yesterday 0.5. We go down to Lake Mead. Lake Mead's water level's at 1,046.95, down some more. Now the level's 182.05 feet below the full pool level of 1,200. Changes, another drop, another 2 inches in the last day. It continues to fall. We go to Lake Mojave next. Lake Mojave's water level 643.72 feet. Of course, this is always near full Pool, the level's 3.28 feet below the full pool of 647. Remember that Lake Mojave is their backup, and they always keep it fairly full, and you really don't see any decreases till around September 1st, the beginning of the water year. They release a lot of water, and then it'll fall. I anticipate it to fall further than it has in the last 2 years, so we'll see if that comes to pass. And then we go down to Lake Havasu, very last here. Lake Havasu's current water level is 449.24 feet MSL. This was Saturday, June 4, 2:30 p.m. The level is 4.24 feet above full pool of 445 feet, and changes since yesterday 0.4, and the same as Mojave. Lake Havasu's always full. Mojave's fairly full most of the time, but eventually that's all going to change. I can't tell you when that'll happen, but at some point it will. So keep that in mind, and that's all I have for tonight. There's so much more I'd like to talk about, but this is getting real long-winded, and you guys have a blessed day. Thanks for stopping by. God bless.